good day mga parts! I'm your parts Dego.
Kumusta kayo amin? I'm your parts Kent.
And welcome to another good episode of Taraki Talks.
Jai, alright, di ba? Kumusta ka naman?
Ayos naman parts.
Hindi ka naman napapagod?
Ay, hindi naman.
Sana ang guest natin ay hindi rin napapagod.
Oo nga,
parang tayo rin.
Kanina ko pa nakitang naka-meeting.
Oo nga eh. Pero, before we go doon sa ating guest ngayong araw na ito, I would like to introduce pa rin. Okay, so, una, ang guest natin, he was designated as the acting regional director of NCIP. And before that, he was the legal officer of NCIP Mountain Province and then designated as the regional legal officer of Cordillera Administrative Region. Kita man dayta. And then also OIC Chief of the Technical Services Management of NCIP, just the same. Alright, so he's also a lawyer, of course. O, diba? Ninervyos ka na ba?
Ninervyos na naman ako.
Ayan, and they were conducting, dito sa NCIP, they were conducting series of webinars. And then meron yung isa during the observance of the Indigenous Peoples Month and the 24th commemoration of the IP Rights Act or yung IPRA last October. Yes, I have a quote na nasabi ni Sir that ancestral domain is part of the identity of IPs and there would be no IPs without it. Ayan. Yes. So we will be confirming that later on. So let us all welcome Attorney Atanacio Addog. Ayan.
Hello.
Sir.
Mag-greet na po tayo, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon lahat sa mga viewers ng Taraki TV. Balita ko, lahat ng mga ini-interview nila, mga Taraki.
Naman.
Actually, ito po yun. Ayan. Kumustahin natin ang mga...
May pa-shoutout po tayo, Manong.
Okay, sige, shoutout sa mga manonood natin. Of course, dun sa mga kasama natin sa NCIP CAR. And of course, sa lahat ng indigenous peoples dito sa CAR and sa Pilipinas.
Ayan. So, maraming salamat, Attorney, sa pagpapa-unlock ninyo dito sa sit-down interview natin. Talagang tight ang schedule ninyo, pero we're very privileged for this time. Kaya naman, umpisahan na natin parts yung tanong mo kanina tungkol sa code na yan.
Oo nga eh. Pero pwede ba namin kayong tawaging manong namin?
Ay, oo nga po eh.
I'm more comfortable on that.
Ay!
So, ang ating
Manong.
ni Manong tayo nga Atanacio. Do you have nickname, sir?
Tani. My friends call me Tani.
Manong Tani. Anyway, Manong, di karod nabasa ngay gani. Nabasa mi DJ actually. EJNT may isang report nga that ancestral domain is part of the identity of IPs and there would be no IPs without it.
Yes.
We would like to elaborate further on that, sir. Go ahead.
Well, of course, isuti naibaga tayo data because the IPs or the lives of the IPs revolves around the ancestral domain actually. So, kung tatanggalin mo yung ancestral domain natin, mawawalan yung identity, part of the identity of the IPs. Well, of course, part of that, hindi lang yung ancestral domain, but of course, more importantly, the cultures and traditions of the indigenous peoples. Pag tinanggal mo yan, part of your being an IP is mawawala sa'yo. Okay? Because that is your identity na hindi yan mawawala. Diba?
Preservation of the culture na din. Diba? Talaga. Ayun. Sir, kwan ngay, after DJ nga nabasa mi nga ikatwa, we were very much mayat gamta indigenous peoples kat talaga nga mainay na yun niya.
Yes.
But we would like to know ito'y ayan ti opisina yun no what is a day like with Attorney Atanacio Addog?
Most especially with your new designation, sir.
Wala namang nagbago. It's just normal work. It's, yun lang. It's additional responsibility. You have to wake up early. Papasok sa opisina ng maaga. Late ka uuwi. So it's just normal work. But yun nga lang, mas maraming responsibilidad. Okay? But as to paano yung trabaho sa office, halos walang nagbago. Especially na sanay tayo sa field work. And more often, we extend our work, iuwi natin sa bahay.
Ay, naman.
Nakita nyo naman kanina, ilang oras kayong naghintay? 30 minutes ata. Walang isang oras. No?
Ay, Manong nga po.
Kaya naman po Manong Taning, no? Kamusta naman din po ang sama ng panahon? So lang, aside from the new designated RD ng CAR, you're also a lawyer, no,
Yeah.
sir? So aning mga expertise niyo ngayon as a lawyer po?
Okay. Before akong pumasok sa government, because I entered NCIP January 6 of 2014 to be exact, no? I've been in private practice. Okay? So mostly yung hinahandle natin is yung mga land cases, criminal cases, and yung cooperatives. Okay? Yan. So those are yung field of specialization natin before I entered in CIP in 2014.
Kaya naman dito din nagkaroon kayo ng designation as OIC for legal.
Siguro part of my because I transferred in NCIP CAR in March 5 of 2018 because before I transferred here, my first assignment sa NCIP was in Baler, Aurora.
Ay, malayo.
Yeah. I was then the provincial officer of NCIP Aurora. So for 6 months, January until 8, because by September of September 2014, I was assigned at the regional office of NCIP Region 3. Okay, until I was designated also as the regional legal officer of NCIP Region 3 in September of 2015.
Grabe yung memory ni Manong. Pero looking back dun sa mga dates na yun and the places where you've been, so ibig sabihin, you're not only defending iti rights niya, iti IPs, iti Cordillera. Before you came here, you were also working for the IPs ng Aurora.
Yeah, Central Luzon actually. Central Luzon. Kung sasabihin natin Central Luzon, halo-halo kasi yan eh. There are mixed IPs. Mayroon tayong mga Aita, may mga Dumagat. Of course, mayroon din tayong mga kababayan na galing Cordillera which migrated in Central Luzon. We have the Kalanguyas. So, we deal with diverse culture. And that is actually the challenge that we enjoy most pag pumunta kami sa field.
Grabe ang inabot ng kinaparakin niyo, sir.
From the Cordilleras to Central Luzon.
Yeah.
So ano yung mga common na mga problema na nakita ninyo doon na meron din dito sa Cordillera?
Okay. The first, of course, is yung problema sa delineation ng ancestral domain.
Ayan, yun.
Ayan, ancestral domain. Yan yung malaking problema because aminin natin at hindi, some other government agencies or yung mga ibang tao, they does not recognize yung ancestral domain. And until now, that is the struggle of the IPs, yung recognition ng ancestral domain nila.
May cut you muna, sir. Can you give a very simple definition of ancestral domain?
Okay, no, kung tayo nga ancestral domain tayo, kut isong nga dito, ilit tayo. Ilit tayong IP niya. Kas pangaringan in Trinidad. Trinidad is the recognized as an ancestral domain niya. The alien iti nainsiguran nga tattao di Trinidad. Okay? So simple. Iso ti ili tayo diay. When like for example, dito Rome tayo. Dito tayo we consider this as a community. Kankanao tayo, this is our domain. Di teritoryo tayo. Yan, simple definition of ancestral domain.
Okay, so going back.
Yeah. Okay, so yan that is very struggle from the very start. Actually, nag-start ito nung time ng colonization natin, di ba? Napaalis tayo, except of course by history dito kasi sa CAR, we have defended our ancestral domains. Not unlike doon sa mga other areas na nakolonize sila, initially nasa baba sila, di ba? But because of colonization, because of yung introduction ng organized government, ayaw yung mga IP, yan yung pumunta sa taas, mga kabundukan. Okay. So ngayon, because of the passage of IPRA, which is actually our it's our international obligation to protect the indigenous peoples. Those are state obligation to protect the indigenous peoples within their territory. Okay. buti nga sa atin nagkaroon ng IPRA, no?
That's right.
Kung hindi ako nagkakamali, we are only the country in the world na mayroong batas specifically dealing with indigenous
Wow.
peoples. Yeah. That is RA 8371.
Sir,
Oh.
ulit, RA
RA 8371.
8371.
And
Mag-google na mga students.
and in fact, dito yung RA 8371, haan nga basta na ipasada ito eh. It went through series of negotiation. Nagrugi na ito in 1989, I think. Struggle tayo.
Matagal.
Yeah, it's the struggle of the indigenous peoples in the country, lobbying, okay? There was a House bill filed in 1989. Unfortunately, hindi siya pumasa. And during the time of Senator Arroyo, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, merong ulit bill na final for the protection of indigenous peoples.
Yes.
Pero hindi man lang pumasa sa committee. Okay? Until such time na ito nga, yung time of the late Senator Flavier, dahil din sa tulong ng mga iba't ibang organization, specifically those indigenous peoples coming from CAR, Mindanao, from the
Mga
Visayas.
NGOs.
Oo, meron din yung mga NGOs, no? Tulong-tulong sila to lobby. So, ang kaibahan lang kasi nung una, parang it deals with the recognition of the ancestral domains, ano? Yung mga unang batas. Unlike dito sa IPRA, because of the conglomerate nitong mga different IP groups, naging more comprehensive at naging yun nga yung protection ng indigenous people's rights. Oo. So kasali na yan yung hindi lang yung ancestral domain, kasali na yan yung self-governance and empowerment, cultural integrity, social justice and human rights. Marami na, naging comprehensive na siya. And yun nga, yung primary author natin dito is si Senator Juan Flavier, the Baguio boy. Yan.
Ever since naman, kapilan niya.
Yes.
That was until such time in 1997.
Yes.
This was signed into law by then President Ramos October 29, 1997. That's why
Very grateful.
that's why we always commemorate IPRA in the month of October.
Ay,
Yan.
naman yung nabasa natin.
Yan yun. Okay.
So, maraming salamat naman kay Senator Flavier.
For initiating this
for
as
that.
well.
Yeah. And of course, yung mga yung mga IPs, different group of IPs from CAR down to Mindanao na tumulong din na mag-lobby for the passage of this law.
Talagang pag nagkaisa nga naman, no?
May mangyayari.
Yes.
Kasjay.
Right. What were dito naman sa Cordillera, no? Manong Taning. What are the usual problems ng mga indigenous people na priority natin ngayon?
Okay, sige. Siyempre, unang-una dyan, yung priority natin is yung delineation ng ancestral domain nila. Na sabi ko kanina. Pangalawa is yung delineation and recognition ng ancestral lands. Okay? Kasi it's a struggle pa rin dito, especially in Baguio City, ano? Kasi hindi naman natin maikakaila. Baguio City is Baguio City. Pero meron din naman yung mga legitimate na claimants na may mga ancestral lands pa dito. Okay, another one is hanggang ngayon yung struggle natin doon sa self-governance and empowerment ng mga IPs. Recognition ng IPMR. Okay? Andyan na yung batas na sabi nga dyan, kung gusto nilang ma-represent sa local sanggunian or legislative bodies, they should be given mandatory representation. Pero, ang nangyayari dyan, meron nga tayong IPMR, hindi naman binibigay yung full salaries and emoluments. So, it's really a struggle for them. So, kahit nga hindi na ibibigay because of their desire to serve the IPs, ayun pa rin. Sige pa rin. Another is the delivery of basic services din. Okay? Yung sa office. Like for example, yung scholarship, educational assistance program. Meron tayong mga, sa mga IAP natin dyan. Meron tayong mga educational assistance program, delivery of basic services, halimbawa yung mga simple projects ba na kaya nating punduhan because until now, because of the FPIC process na kailangan nating kunin yung the consent of the community for every projects or programs na papasok sa ancestral domain. Parating binabudget cut si NCIP. And we are very thankful doon sa mga sa Congress, sa Senate, that eventually, I think just yesterday or the other day, na-approve na yung budget ni NCIP. Although there is a budget cut, but it was already approved. Kaya it really hampers the delivery of the basic services ng office doon sa budget.
Binding. So parang sa mga projects na yun, no, ng NCIP, syempre dun sa may project na affecting the ancestral domains, no sir, there are times siguro na maaapektuhan talaga ang mga IPs natin, and sometimes they oppose on some projects, sir.
Right.
How do you handle those po, sir?
Well, of course, hindi naman natin maialis yan. In every aspect of development, mayroong mga nag-oppose. But for as long as we will continue to facilitate yung free, prior, and informed consent, yung pagkuha sa consent or anong tawag nito, yung di pa malubos nga ito umili. Because at the end of the day, isudamot ti ag-decide. Yeah, we will just there to guide them. If we will be just there to facilitate, okay, kung paano ba yung pagbibigay nila ng consent, yung jay pamalubos iti may isang proyekto. So at the end of the day, sila naman yung magde-decide, and we will respect kung ano man yung decisions that they will be giving. Okay,
And
but
continuous pa rin yung latag ng proposals maybe for the IPs na yan. For our IPs. Sorry.
Yeah.
Kasday nga ron, sir, kwan ngay, kasla nga dengdenggak dagi jay in-explain yung tatay kat, wow, narigat nga aramidin. So nga, how do you balance your time, sir? How do you balance your time at work?
At work, at sa family, siguro nagrereklamo na sila. Sabi nga nila, sa opisina ka na nakatira. But well, of course, yan kasi, it's your passion, no? Yung your passion sa trabaho, yung kagustuhan mong matapos yung trabaho mo, wala kang backlog, and it's your passion as a public servant. Okay? But of course, family comes first, di ba? Pag siyempre sa Panginoon, pamilya, then trabaho. Ayan. We always find time. We always find time naman na at least pamilya muna. Okay.
Secondary yan.
Yeah.
Trabaho. When sir, we would like also to know some of your messages din. Messages sa ating mga viewers and IPs as well. Yeah.
Okay. Simple lang siguro. For in behalf sa office ng NCIP, huwag kayong mahiya to inquire or bumisita sa office if you need the services of NCIP, especially yung mga recruitment. Ito yung mga ngayon, very busy siyang mga nag-i-issue ng COC, recruitment ng mga pulis, yung mga kulang ng height, mga yan. Okay? Kasi hindi naman tayo pinagpala na matangkad, So, that is one of the services na ino-offer namin para at least meron tayong yung height waiver na sinasabi, yan. At kung meron pa kayong gustong malaman tungkol sa programa ng opisina, wag po kayong mag-atubali na bumisita sa ating regional office dito sa Baguio or sa field offices natin in every province. Okay? Yan.
Ready pa opisina ni Manong Tani.
At saka kanina, pagpasok namin, nakangiti naman sila dito. Kaya huwag kayong mahihiya.
Very welcoming sila dito,
welcoming. Right. Ayan. Agayam tayo.
I guess. It's time for the game. So tatalon tayo ngayon, Manong Tani.
Magpapasubo ata tayo. Pwede bang proxy?
Asan ba yung baan?
Manong Tani, ito
Ima.
Hindi may isa.
Ima mutlang.
Nung ay puto.
Ano na? Puto?
Okay. Yan na ito
ano no?
Wala.
Puto?
Puto pa rin.
Puto kapi.
Oo nga, no? Duplicate pa rin, may duplicate siya.
Ay, grabe parts. Bumenta kay Manong Tani.
Taan ka, di Manong. Kasi ayun, ada DJ 5 words tayo. So nga, sinublat kami kani Manong Brendel.
Okay. Sige, subukan natin.
Sige, sir. Ay, one word, sir. Manong,
Or
one word
phrase.
nga equivalent na DJ damagan niya term. But no explanations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. So first word natin ay culture.
IP.
Yan. Respect.
Identity.
IPs.
Culture.
Family.
Tani. NCIP.
NCIP. And finally, J word nga, taraki.
Tani.
Diba?
Ayun, yun.
Grabe.
Kasay. So,
talaga.
when nakita yun niya, kinataraki mo ni Manong Tani tayo dito nga is also defending the rights of IPs and everything, lahat ng trabaho dito sa NCIP.
Yes.
Yan, nagagawa naman talaga ni Manong Tani.
Yan, at
Diba?
sa lahat ng mga kahit nangangailangan ng tulong regarding, no?
Exactly.
Or with, na may pwede nating involve ang NCIP, punta lang po kayo dito sa office nila at huwag po tayong mahihiyang humingi ng tulong. At pwede rin po tayong mag-send ng ating inquiry sa kanilang page. So, i-flag po natin, sir.
Okay, sa mga gustong magtanong through online, meron po kaming FB page, NCIP Car. Ayan, you can follow NCIP Car. Pwede kayong pumunta din sa website namin. Just Google NCIP Car. Meron dyan yung mga services na ino-offer ng ating opisina.
Yan.
Any more, sir?
Yun, maraming salamat for giving me this opportunity na maging taraki kahit sandali lang. Thank you. Shout out sa mga viewers natin. Parati nating tangkilikin si Taraki TV.
Oh,
Ay,
yeah.
naman.
Perfect.
Yan mga parts, no?
Ayan. Baka the TikTok user.
TikTok, wala pa eh.
Instagram.
Instagram, wala rin eh.
Wala rin na yan.
Oo.
Oh.
Di bali na. Basta meron si Facebook.
Ah.
Yun yung means of communication natin.
Indeed.
Alright. Oh, maraming salamat ulit Manong Tani for the comprehensive answer sa ating mga katanungan ngayon.
Yan. So marami tayong napulutan ng aral ngayon, maraming naliwanagan ngayon tungkol sa NCIP, no? At kulang talagang oras do na pag-uusapan, pero tingnan natin kung meron pang susunod. And I'm your Parts Digo.
And this has been your Parts Kent for
Taraki
Talks. Ayan. Thank you, sir.